Hello everyone and welcome to the Gunpla Network. We hope everyone out there had a fun and safe holiday season. I'm the Spicer and today we're going to take a look at our predictions for 2022. After going over our predictions from 2021, a few things were painfully clear. First, we'd be terrible meteorologists because we didn't get a single pick right. Not weathermen here, we're definitely not that. Second, we would need to change up not only how we made our predictions, but some ground rules around what we were going to include in the video. And of course, lastly, probably most importantly, none of us ever should hold our breath for a Master Grade G Self, because that ain't coming anytime soon, unfortunately. So what changes are we making? Well, first we're including kits that are not only coming out in 2022, but are announced in 2022. As it kind of limits us as far as what is actually going to come out, because stuff that was announced in 2021 late is going to come out early 2022, and then that kind of messes up picks, and then things that should come out at the end of 2022 are actually announcements that come out early 2023. So we're just, anything that happens in 2022 counts. Secondly, we're doing 2 lists of 10 instead of 1. One of the lists is going to be our rock solid, very confident, locked in picks that we absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, believe we'll see this year. And the second list is going to be more of a long shot list of things we think are possible and a little wild, but we'd still like to see, and there's always going to be some kind of basis for that other than we just think it's neat. All that being said, we're still going to miss some things. Like I said, we're not meteorologists, we don't predict things very well. So let us know in the comments down below if we miss a kit you think we're going to see in 2022, as there's going to be at least a few that I can think of, probably off the top of my head. Now, before we get to our predictions, let's take a word from our sponsor. Mecha Parts Guy is an online retailer that specializes in selling Gunpla, Evangelion, Kotobukiya, Flame Toys, and many other type of model kit runners and parts to replace anything you may lose. No need to buy a whole new kit, just buy the specific part or the runner and keep on building. As a member of the Gunpla Network community, you are entitled to a permanent 10% discount at the store when you use coupon code GunplaNetwork10. Now onto our first list, the solid picks, the for sures, the ones we're most confident in. Starting us at number 10 is the Master Grade Barbatos Lupus. We feel enough time has passed to follow up to 2019's Gundam Barbatos and make a debut in continuing the line at least. This is a kit that people have been asking for since the first day of 2020 after the Barbatos had come out, and if there's one thing we know about Barbatos fans, other than their love of hating people for pronouncing Barbatos wrong, is that they will continue to buy other Barbatoses. I mean, I can't think of a person I've ever met that has one Gundam Barbatos in just one. Like, it's like a bag of chips. Once you pop, you can't stop. It's like Pringles. Once you Barbatos, you don't stop. It's not as catchy, whatever. We'll get the marketing guys to work on it. But regardless, if you like Barbatos, you're going to want more Barbatos, and this was already a great Master Grade. Develop the frame a little bit more. This is probably, maybe not the most favorite, but it's up there for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people are going to buy it, just due to the popularity of the initial release. Number 9 brings us to the high-grade Universal Century, Doan Zaku 2 from the upcoming Doan's movie. Now, if you're not seeing the original series or any of the promotional material, this is kind of a one-off episode that happens in the original series, where this dude Doan has his Zaku 2, he's a deserted Zeon soldier, and all he really does is throw big rock at a Zaku 2 from his Zaku 2 and like rip off the face mask of another one. Nothing special about his Zaku, but I don't think we're getting another RX-78-2 because it kind of looks like something that already exists. So they'll probably do something weird with Doan Zaku, and that's probably it. I mean, we're going to get something from this movie, and it only makes sense that it's a high grade and most likely a Zaku. Number 8 is the return of the 0080s with the real grade Hyaku Shiki. The golden boy of the golden-haired boy, the Hyaku Shiki is the last suit needed to complete the original Argama Gundam team, since we already have the Mark II and the Zeta Gundam. A mini Master Grade Style 2.0 would fall right in line with Bandai's trends of shrinking popular Master Grades, or at least adapting tech for newer real grades. Plus, we've been looking at trends in at least within the last few years. When Bandai has multiple real grades come out, at least one of them is going to be a UC kit. And why not have a Year of Gold with the Hyaku Shiki? Number 7 takes us hunting with the Iron-Blooded Orphans Hloekk Graze high grade from Utaru Hunt. This Char-esque Graze has a little something for everyone. A solid popular frame in the Graze body, a cool villain aesthetic, and some fairly minor changes so Bandai's design team doesn't have to do a whole lot. While it's not a straight recolor, this would blend in with your existing Grazes while still having a little bit of flash and flare. Bandai loves printing Zakus, and to a slightly lesser extent, they love printing Grazes, so this is a no-brainer. This is eventually going to get made. With Utaru Hunt continuing to exist and I assume doing fairly well in Japan, we'll probably be seeing this within the next year. Number 6 is unfortunately probably going to be PBandai, but it's the Full Mechanics Sword Calamity. This is inevitability, whether it's this year or next year or the next, this is going to happen at some point. The Calamity came out, it's fairly popular, there's not a whole lot you have to do, and who doesn't want a red, edgy, sword-wielding Calamity Gundam? I mean, that sounds like the most Calamity thing you can have. Plus, with the Seed's anniversary, it only makes sense we'll start seeing stuff like this. Number 5 continues the inevitability of Gundam Seed with the Master Grade Gouf Ignited. With a Zaku Warrior and Jin before it, Bandai's been pretty successful with making Master Grade Zaft grunt suits. They even got to cash in on several retooled recolors of the Zaku Warrior. The next step is the Gouf Ignited, because let's face it, no one's really out there yelling for a Master Grade Sigyu or Guaiz. Plus, Bandai could make some premium Bandai versions of Heine and Izax recolored, and probably come up with a couple of other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head, but just do the normal blue release and then make a bunch customs. It's no brainer, it's a popular design, it looks cool, it fits the trend, and it fits the Year of Seed. Number 4 keeps us in the Cosmic Era with the high-grade Cosmic Era Aegis Gundam. We already have the base in 2020's high-grade Aegis Knight. Much like the Infinite Justice before it, it's time we see a new version of this iconic Athrin-Zala suit. With 2022 being the 20-year anniversary for Gundam Seed first airing, it only makes sense that we'll see a fair bit from the Cosmic Era this year. And this pretty much already exists, so this probably is coming out this year. Number 3 brings us to another anniversary with 0083 Stardust Memories and the real grade GPO2. We already have the 2 GPO1s, which are really nice looking, if a little finicky, and all we need to finish out the 2 main Gundams, if you will, is the GPO2. Not only is it the 30th anniversary, a reason for this to see the light of day, but it already kind of fits conceptually with the real grade line. Like, if we really look at it, the GPO2 has a lot of surface texturing and detailing, tons of opportunity for color variation, striking visuals that have just the craziest, most unique silhouette of maybe any UC Gundam, at least from the early part of the UC. And it's got a ton of gimmicks. I mean, you have the massive radiator shield, the shoulder thrusters, the nuclear cannon, and a whole host of other gimmicks that the real grade line just loves throwing in. And if you really want to go crazy, throw in the missile pack from the MRLS set as well. Number 2 is one of the few holdovers from last year, the high-grade After Colony Shenlong Gundam. This is also an inevitability, but Bandai, for whatever reason, is just not feeling it. And with Seed, you know, maybe they're not going to go here, but they're probably going to go here, let's be honest. They are itching at the bit to get into some of the other more popular, I guess, EW suits, and this is probably the last thing on their mind, but they've already got designs for 2 of the continuations or the mid-season upgrades. They're going to probably push this out, maybe to a little fanfare later this year, but definitely high-grade After Colony Shenlong will be probably coming out this year. Number 1 is the Full Mechanics Forbidden Gundam. Just like the Sword Calamity, this is inevitable. The Calamity is a popular kit, the Raider has a ton of buzz around it, and the next logical step is the Forbidden. Enough said. Now before we get on to our long shots that are maybe a little more controversial, allow me a moment for a few honorable mentions, which is just my shameless way to throw in some Code Geass High Grade 135th talk because, let's be honest, I can't not do it. With the Lancelot Albion coming out this year, it's only a matter of time before we see a Gurren Satan and the recolor of the Albion Zero. I would love way more Code Geass kits than that, just side note, but these, if we don't get anything else and this isn't a Full Metal Panic style widespread line, are the two that I would expect to see. You need a companion for the Albion, and why not do a recolor that's PBandai, because that's probably what only people who are going to care about this are going to look for. But, needless to say, onto our long shots. At number 10, we have something that I've been screaming into the void for 20 years. High Grade After Colony Taurus. It's time, Bandai, come on. There is not a Taurus kit technically that exists out there. Sure, there's that like one old school 90s kit, but let's be honest, there is like, that's a grail. That's really hard to find, it's super expensive, and it's not worth it. Let's get a good, solid, modern Taurus. Come on, Bandai, please do it for me so I can shut up. Just put me out of my misery. Do it. A return to the Cosmic Era with number 9 in the real grade Akatsuki. Well, I already messed that up. Well, we already have the real grade God Gundam taking up one of the non-UC real grade spots this year. A seed heavy year is likely to come for us in 2022. Why not take a crack at one of the last hero Gundams from the series and a regular release for gold plating? While the Providence or Legend would absolutely be cool, Bandai seems to care more about the hero suits for the real grade line. And sure, we have an aging high grade and no grade for this, but if they use kind of the same gold plating technology like the Sananju used, this could be one of the most impressive real grades of all time, and this is the year to do it if you're gonna do it. Sure, you could wait for Gundam Seed Destiny's anniversary, but they're so close together that I don't think people are really going to be that phased, especially if you announce it late 2022 for like an early 2024 release or something like that. Number 8 is a pretty long shot, but what better way to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of Kira screaming into the void than with the High Resolution Strike Gundam. The High Resolution line has already done quite a bit, and well, if it's the 20th anniversary, why not take a crack at the Seed suits, or more of them at least, since we already have the Astrays. Take a crack at the Strike. There's, I think the Striker packs kind of somewhat exist in this line, but it's expensive, it's flashy, and it's a good way to celebrate with something fairly exclusive. Number 7 is the real grade Kasi Gundam from Hathaway's Flash. This is big, already has a high grade that's super big and kind of finicky, but really strike while the iron's hot here. Announce it late 2022, 2023, early 2024 release for like around the next movie. Have probably some variants because there's probably going to be some visual differences between each version of it in film anyway. Bandai is going to love something like this, and this is something that really, the high grade wasn't super impressive for a lot of people other than just sheer size. Have something that's going to really play up the gimmicks. Bandai likes to do that with their more popular kits. Real grade line makes total sense for the Kasi Gundam. Number 6 is one, of course, we've all been holding our breath for with the Master Grade G-Self. We all keep wanting it, we all keep yelling about it, we all keep putting it on these lists, and we're always wrong. So do we learn from our mistakes? Absolutely not. We put it back on the list until we're right, because we're right. And we will be right. Bandai. But yeah, Master Grade G-Self movies are coming out and doing fairly well. This is something that people have been screaming for years and makes total sense. Sure, it's not like the Strike Gundam, it's not the most popular thing, but it does, much like the Tournay, have kind of a cult following of people who love it. People would definitely buy this. Whether or not it's a Verka, I still think people would be excited. Number 5 is a carryover from last year as well, with the high-grade Jeddah from Moon Gundam. Grunt suits, Jagans, Moon Gundam, all of it is great, looks good, still exists. With Moon Gundam still kind of being somewhat relevant and being fairly popular, I suppose, and not just kits but in its manga and its implementation into not only Gundam Battle Operations 2, but also the mobile game UC Engage, means that we'll more likely not see more of these Gundam Moon kits as they continue to get put in other things. Number 4 is the Master Grade Cherudim Gundam from Gundam 00 Season 2, and this makes sense as far as carrying on what Bandai's been doing in the past. A little bit of a long shot with the Year of Seed, because I think a lot of Master Grades are probably going to err towards that, but all the way back in 2019 we had the Dynamis, then we went to the Kyrios, then the Virtue, and now right back to the Cherudim. I don't know that the bits and everything would work too well with this, so maybe there's a couple of different versions that would come out. But generally speaking, people have been loving these 00 suits. We're kind of coming up on an anniversary, but not really, like we have quite a few years, like 5 or 6. But regardless, this is something I think people would like quite a bit. It's something you've already been doing. Go ahead and continue it. Maybe wait, announce it late 2022 for 2023 release. But I still think, although it's a long shot, we'll see something about the Cherudim. Number 3 is another one we've been yelling about for years, and the real grade Epyon. This is one of the few kits they have left in the After Colony era to make. We already have pretty much everything else other than the anime version of Wing Zero, and the Epyon is no different. Do what they did with the Tallgeese, bring out a version that's EW, and then do like a PBandai version that's TV that's minusculely different, like they're pretty much the same. And then, if you really want to continue the After Colony era, do a PBandai of the white version of the Epyon from Frozen Teardrop, and kind of go that route and start making kits in that eventually. But this is something we've been wanting for a long time. I assume the transformation technology is there and probably improved since some of the last transforming suits we've had. And honestly, I don't even care if it transforms. I think it would just look cool. It's edgy, it's 90s, it's great. Number 2, returning us to the Year of Seed with the high-grade Guaiz R. The high-grade Cosmic Era line has been doing really good and picking out some weird grunts we haven't seen before. Not necessarily weird, but grunts we didn't get in the original Seed line with the Dagger and the Wyndham. It makes sense. Well, there's pretty much only one left with the Guaiz and Guaiz R. Pretty much the same thing, minor interchangeability of parts as far as some accessories, so that's not too big a deal. Do it. I mean, people liked the Wyndham. Those frames have been doing well. The high-grade Cosmic Era line's doing well. It's Seed's 20th anniversary. There's not much more to say. Number 1, probably the longest shot, but one of the most exciting, is the high-grade or high-grade Extreme GP01 Full Burnier. We all kind of collectively think that we'll see something for Stardust Memories this year, whether it's a real grade, revamped high grades, reissues, or new Master Grades. We're really hoping for Master Grade 2.0 or Extreme for the GP01 Full Burnier. The reason we kind of go Extreme is there's the perfect grade GP01 Full Burnier that has a lot of cool stuff, and it's one of those suits that you just like see busts of and stuff where there's all this technical stuff happening to it, a lot of opening panels, lots of lights. Do that. Sure, it's not the unicorn, but throw a light unit in the chest for the eyes, the extra cameras, maybe the back thrusters, and then for the 2 big bulky Burniers on the back, or Burniers, whatever you want to call them, have light units in those, and maybe down on the knees, but generally, there's a lot of cool things you can do with this that people have already done. Maybe it's a different direction to go, maybe they're not thinking about continuing the Extreme line. I think this would be one of the kits they would do it with, and I think there's a lot of us that have kind of gone down this line, but whether it's updated 2.0 Master Grades, which would fall in line with Bandai's stuff, or a Master Grade Extreme, we'll see some GPO something rather. And that's our list, or lists, if you will. Of course, like I said in the comments down below, let us know, are we wrong, are we right, what did we miss? And of course, look for us to leave some comments ourselves, because this is always a fun conversation at the beginning of the year. As always, friends, I've been the Spicer here for the Gunpla Network. Please stay safe.